Here we go. We are back. Secondary break. Graham Bond, Zach Talitsky. We took a game break. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready after the Alabama game to do this show. So we'll lump that in a little bit. We do kick off the ACC season today at home with Georgia Tech. So we get out of the gates and we get off a 3-game losing streak with a conference game, which you always, conference games are hard, especially the first one. But we're at home. It's a game we should win. And it was a lot more dicey than I'd like to think. How you feeling? I'm gonna take the positive side today, and that's gonna be challenging for me. But I'm gonna take the positive side.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try not to go too negative then.
Okay.
I'm not
We're gonna switch roles. Anyone that sees this for the first time, I'm usually the sky is falling, and Zach's usually pulling me off the cliff. So we might be switching now.
Yeah, I mean, the good I took from the game is we won the game.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
That's it. Hard stop.
Stop.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot great with this game. So the positive thing that the approach that I was going to say was, I do not believe we have what it takes to be a Final Four team.
Oh,
now,
no.
anything can happen. Who knows? If someone go back, oh, you didn't have faith in your team. On paper and what the product that the team has put out there, I think, first weekend for the NCAA tournament is like a successful win with the program or with the roster as currently constructed.
My expectations are so lower now. I just want to make the tournament.
Well, that's in doubt.
It is. I mean, we still have some other important games. If we need to win one or two of those out of conference games.
Yeah, Florida, UCLA are the two that we have coming up before the break, I think.
Right. I mean,
we got to get one of those.
Yeah, you have to win one. I mean, ideally both to feel even halfway decent about our non-conference schedule. Ash called it. The last time we were on, to lose to Michigan State would be bad, and then there's a risk that we come back stateside and our legs aren't there and we get rolled by Bama. And that's exactly what happened. Whether that was due to the trip and fatigue or just, it looked like we just didn't have a roster to compete with them or both.
I would love to say it was the legs. I would love to say it was it was not the legs. It was not.
Just I think we're deep enough in the season now to say the roster construction is going to limit what this team can do. We don't have bigs who can compete at the high level. There's, a major weakness there. The big unknowns going into the season where you hoped, okay, if it breaks this way, maybe this team can reach its full potential. It feels like most of those things are breaking against us, not for us at this point in the season. I know there's a long way to go. But we needed Jalen Washington to take a major step forward, in his third year of the program. And that so far has not happened. We needed Cade Tyson to come in as a transfer and be, a really significant piece for us. Better stretch the floor, make threes, and maybe even play, be our starting four. That clearly has not happened. We needed RJ to play at that same All-American National Player of the Year level. That so far has not happened.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest plus you would say is, to me so far, is Seth. I mean, he's huge leap. And so that's gone our way. Cadeau, I thought early in the year he made a big leap, and then the last couple of games, I don't know what's going on with him, but his head just didn't seem to be in the game today. And then the freshmen, I don't know, maybe I'm in the middle there. I think that they are going to be major contributors. So I put that maybe not in the plus category, but I think it's going to be in the plus category. I mean, you see Captain Jack starting to feel it and get to the rim and score and get more confidence. And then, I think Drake will continue to find his role. But most of the things we really needed to break our way, at least so far, it just doesn't seem like this roster is built to win at the level that we had hoped.
Yeah. So of those things, what do you think still has a chance to happen? Or do you think all of those across the board? So, for example, we needed RJ to play at the level that he was playing at last year. Now, granted, he'd already played 3 years. There was a ton of tape on him, so people knew what to do against RJ. I think it did make a huge difference when you have someone as large as Baycott setting ball screens to free him up. I mean, I just think that when you have a guy, and I played guard, when you have a guy that sets really good screens, even if it's off the ball, even if it's you get an extra half a second before the guy gets through the screen, makes a massive difference. But RJ's got to be better. Like, he has to be better. He's been awful. I think I looked at his shooting percentage, and again, today wasn't great. I think it was 2 for 8 from three. He's shooting like 24% from three. And I know he's taking tougher shots because people are loading up on him. But 24%, it's just, I don't, anyone can say you're a hater. I'm not hating. It's just we're not going to win without him shooting above 30% from three, especially the volume that he takes. I mean, was he 1 for 11 against Bama?
Yeah, and I think that one I maybe have the most confidence in turning around just because he's been so good for so long. And yes, I do think there are some of these shots and some of his percentages are impacted by the difficulty and not getting the same looks, but he's also missing a lot of shots that he has made throughout his career. So it's not
three naked ones today. I marked it. Oh, all right. I have the minute mark somewhere where, just like he makes 2 of the 3 of those last year, if not all of them. He missed all of them this year. I mean, the Bama game, if you watch the Bama game, I think the first shot of the game, he didn't even hit rim. It was straight backboard. He tossed up a 3 and it didn't even draw iron. I was like, man, what's going on here?
So but I have confidence in that coming around. I think that the freshmen are going to continue to come and develop and be big contributors and will lift this team. And frankly, I'm at the point where I'm just ready to play them. And let's not ease them in. Let's give them minutes and let's play them. I mean, I wish Drake would have gotten more than 15. I was glad that Ian got 27.
Yeah.
But they're clearly, athletically, 2 of the best players we have on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And they give us a little bit more size. I mean, certainly Drake does on the perimeter. So I don't know. We got to find, I think, more minutes for them. And then I don't know. I think we may have to play around with the starting lineup or something. And I don't know if we sit Cadeau. I don't know if we go Seth and RJ.
Mm-hmm.
And
if we sit Cadeau, we lose Cadeau. Like, I don't,
Well, I know, but I don't know what we do. This roster construction, it really ties Hubert's hands. There isn't a lot that he can do, and none of that's going to help our front line. And we just don't have any answers. I mean, I was really worried that Jalen hurt his ankle tonight and was going to be out for 3 weeks or something. But anyway, at least he got back in the game. I mean, again,
got a dunk.
20 minutes, his 2 points was, basically a layoff dunk.
So, he's not giving us anything, man.
No.
For a Carolina big, again, we've been spoiled for a long time. It wasn't long ago where we had Baycott, Walker Kessler, and Day'Ron Sharp all on the same roster. So this is foreign territory for us. Of like, we don't know what to do. We're going to play Jalen Withers at 5 almost as much as we play Jalen Washington, who was supposed to be this 3rd-year guy. Like, he's been in the program. He's going to take a – so, like, we're in unheard of, uncharted waters right now. And that's why I'm trying to give Hubert some grace, because I don't think the answer is anything that he can fix when it comes to the roster.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, we had to fix that by landing, 1 or 2 of those transfer bigs that we were going after. And, I don't know if we'll ever know the story of what happened. I don't know if we didn't recruit well. I don't know if we were unwilling to pay what was being asked. I think Hubert said something after all that we're not a transactional program.
He did.
And I don't know what he means by that, but I assume that it means that, he's trying to make sure that he brings guys in that are buying into the team, and it's not just about, the highest bidder. And I understand and respect that.
Yeah.
I don't know, though, is it just naive? And is that the world that we're living in, for better or for worse? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and I would love to do a whole separate show of, maybe, salary cap or ways to fix this, pay for play, like highest bidder. It's turning into Major League Baseball. There's a reason that the SEC ACC challenge was 14-1. The SEC football teams and the SEC football money and all of these NIL collectives that just dominate the ACC that do not have those same caliber football teams and same caliber NIL collectives got the higher bids for these offseason portal players. And that's why you're seeing it's so lopsided. And, if there's a $20 million salary cap and you kind of treat it like a business, like it is a pro sport, then I think that kind of takes that or evens out the playing field a little bit, and also rewards some of the schools like Carolina that have built a brand of success over the last 100 years, and not just, hey, I'm at the party now, I got more money than everybody, I'm going to buy my wins. You know what I mean? Like, we've put a lot of effort into cultivating a winning basketball program over a long period of time. Nowadays, with the way the NIL seems to be set up, is you don't have to have any of that. Hey, we got more money. Hey, I'm from Arkansas. I got the Walton money. Come on over here. We'll pay you more than anybody else. What's your highest bid? All right, here's an extra $500,000. Play for us.
It's what it seemed like in the ACC SEC challenge for sure, and it doesn't seem like it's going to get better. I mean, as long as we have this, whatever it is, $30-40 million annual, TV deficit per team.
Yeah,
that's tough. The SEC's done a good job with, I think, bringing in good coaches. I mean, it used to be you look across the ACC and it's just like legendary coaches, with every team. You look across the ACC now and you don't have that. I mean, some of it, you've got people, retiring, so like Tony Bennett leaving, and so Virginia's way down. But Duke and Carolina are still kind of breaking in newer people. We lost legendary coaches as well. But across the league, you look at like coach for coach, you'd have to say the SEC has better coaching now than the ACC does too.
Yeah.
And some of that's money, right? Like they've gone and pulled like Buzz, the Texas A&M coach. He left Virginia Tech. For Texas
he was great at Marquette too. Like he's done well everywhere he's been.
Yeah.
Is it Peter? It's Buzz Peters, right?
It's not Buzz Peterson. It's not,
that's
the Carolina
Peters.
guy.
Peters, I thought is what his name is. I could be wrong, but all right. So one of the things that we can talk about Georgia Tech, because look, we won the game, but I don't think. And if you look at Hubert Davis's facial expression when the horn goes off, I think that he knew as well. Like that was ugly. Like it didn't feel like a win at all. I'm not trashing Georgia Tech, but two of their best players were out. They're on the road. It's, they were shorthanded. They aren't projected to be a great team in the ACC, and we needed a couple lucky breaks to win that game. I have no idea what's going on with Elliot Cadeau, but he looked miserable tonight. And so, like last year, even when he was playing bad, diving on the floor and laughing and having joy, I'm worried about the team's body language with each other. Like, I just don't think that they really enjoy being around one another, or it doesn't look that way, or maybe they're putting too much pressure on themselves, or, the year we missed the tournament and then we didn't even accept the NIT bid, rumors were the team hated itself. And there was Caleb Love and maybe he was not great for the locker room. And I don't want to, pour dirt on him because he's been gone. But I feel the same way about this roster as I did about that. Like there's some intangible stuff that's going on that doesn't seem great. And RJ being, we're 9 games into the season now. There's a small sample size that you can start to be really worried about RJ. He's not a National Player of the Year candidate anymore whatsoever. I would venture to say he's not even at the top of the leaderboard for all ACC right now. You know what I mean? Like if you take into account all the games and not just ACC games.
Yeah, you're right. The body language didn't look good today. We're missing Harrison Ingram on a lot of dimensions, but man, he played with so much joy and a smile on his face, and the chemistry on last year's team was awesome. we talked about it all the time. Just as a fan, it was so much fun to watch those games because they seemed to be playing hard. They were playing defense every possession. They were playing for each other. They were playing with joy. I don't know what's happened this year. I don't know if it's just frustration from the losses. I don't know if there's other sorts of interpersonal team dynamics going on, but something's not right. Whether we can turn the corner with that, I don't know. Some of it is just meeting with success, and some of that's on I think the individual players. I think some of that's on the coaching staff. It doesn't feel to me that we have really said, okay, this is what Drake Powell likes to do on offense. Mm-hmm. And we're going to run some stuff to get him a half a step ahead, like curling towards the basket or like at the elbow, where he has either a drive option or just go up. Because when he goes up in the mid-range, like nobody's contesting his shot. I mean, he's very bouncy and long.
Yeah, it's great.
And so, like, we can't get him 5 or 6 good looks, like off of some sort of, flex motion or curl motion or something where, he starts to build some offensive confidence, not having to do a lot. Like, he doesn't need to be creating from the 3-point line with like 2 or 3 dribbles, but like,
sure.
Like off of a curl or something where you've got like a one read, you're either going to the basket or just doing a pull up, and just make it simple for them and just give them some simple looks. And I think the same is true with some other guys. It doesn't feel like we've really honed in and said, all right, like what we're doing with just this like 4-out motion isn't getting us a lot of good half court looks. So let's mix in some more sets. And let's mix in, some variety to kind of get different guys better looks and get going. Tech, they basically had 2 guys today, and but they were getting carry and buy, basically whatever they wanted and getting them good looks. And they almost those 2 guys almost beat us. So that's what I would like to see on the offensive end is where it's just start building some confidence. And Cadeau too. I don't know, like
he seems useless. He seems useless in a half court offense now because guys are just like last year, just sagging off, and he's forcing him, bulldog way into the rim. And he had like 7 turnovers a day throwing it. And those were his fault. There's been times where he's dropped it off to the big and they're fumbling, Today there was something off today, and off games happen. I've had bad games. Like I'm not above that, but he looked bad. It would be a lie if I said Elliot Cadeau looked like the player that we need him to be. Even the last couple games, it's just been bad.
Right. And on the defensive end, we have to be a great perimeter defensive team to make up for the lack of size and the lack of rebounding. And so far we haven't been that. And I think some of it is Cadeau and RJ they're never going to be, I think, great defensive guards.
Yeah.
Some of it just seems to be effort, and then some of it seems to be just physical limitations. And so that's tough, right? So if you're playing those 3 guards, they're going to like run a motion to get either avoid Seth, and get the ball to, one of their other guards that those guys are guarding, and they just play bully ball with them.
We switch everything. So we make game. We make it easy for them to search out, to get off Seth, because they switch everything. Yeah. So it only takes – you don't even have to set a screen. I've yelled about it.
Just a dribble handoff. You get a switch.
They do this. They just point, and then they switch. But honestly, when they're not setting screens and guys are running past, one Carolina guy will point. The Carolina defender that's not pointing will see it late, have to stop, change directions, and catch up to a person that never set a screen. So they're just continually running. You cannot switch. You can't just switch everything. I don't know who's coaching defense at Carolina, but we gave up a big 3 today, the guy pointing. But you understand, the person that's switching, you can switch a screen because someone has to stop and stand still. So then they have to start from 0 and start running again. If you're switching guys that are crossing, you're having to stop at 0, change direction to catch up to someone who never stopped at all. So it's just not working. I don't know who's coaching defense, but I'll have that conversation with the most brilliant basketball mind on the planet. We got to stop doing the just switching. And to your credit, if they want to avoid Seth Trimble, all they got to do is cross whoever he's guarding, because Seth, by what we do, is just going to switch.
Yeah. We talked about this last year. Early in the year last year, we were switching a lot, and we were switching a lot on smalls on bigs, and like they kept posting up RJ and
Yeah.
Cadeau, and I
Yeah.
feel like we made an adjustment going in the ACC, and we stopped switching and we just started fighting through screens more. And in some ways, I thought that was one of the big changes that we made that led to much better defensive performance. So I'm with you. Like I think we're gonna have to switch something up. I still don't understand why we're not pressing more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the team size that we have, I mean, I feel like our quickness and our speed is like the one advantage we have on defense. And so, like, let's get out and pressure people, especially like today when Jalen got hurt and we went to our small lineup and we have Withers playing center. It seemed like a perfect time.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice Georgia Tech having some great point guard that you were afraid to press. So maybe they do. I don't know, but it just feels like we're not doing enough on defense to create havoc and change up our looks. And we have such obvious matchup problems that they're easy to hunt. Yeah. And we have to make it harder for people to hunt the matchups.
Yeah, agreed. The bigs get a lot of attention for, the deficiencies that we have down low, and as they should. I know that they're giving their best, but when we play top 25 teams, I just think that we're going to get abused. I do think that there's a way to play with what we have and be better defensively, showing doubles, half trapping, getting back, rotations, like switching up and being proficient in it. We don't seem to be proficient in any defensive style yet, and maybe that changes. But one of the things that is driving me is insane is everyone's like, all right, we knew all portal long, we got to get a big, and we didn't. So the defense was, all right, well, we've got Ian who's coming in who's a walk-in bucket. Like, honestly, with Ian's size, I think he's the only player on our team outside of maybe Seth that can just mano a mano, no matter how tall the other person is, get a good look at a shot. Like, RJ struggles with anybody 6'6" and above. And like, I even listened to his press conference the other night, and he was like, well, bigger guys are guarding me. I'm having a hard time seeing the rim. And like, it's just, I got to find a way to, start making shots. And my issue has been, all right, we thought we were going to be so elite at shot making that it would offset the lack of size that we have. And in the Alabama game, and many of the games that we've lost, Auburn, I'd have to go back, but like Alabama, since it's pretty fresh, Cadeau, Seth, and RJ were like 11 of 47 from the field, and like 2 of 17 from 3. Today, same thing. I mean, RJ was like, today, RJ's 5 of 15 and 2 of 8. Georgia Tech doesn't have the size that Alabama, Michigan State, Auburn, and even Kansas has, and it didn't change. So, like, I'm, like, really now hitting the panic button of, like, well, our guards are not even playing elite. And that's what we were hanging our hat on.
Right. I mean, you can't be a guard-oriented team and have 18 turnovers and shoot 21% from 3.
Right. So that's
I'm
what
not a genius.
I'm scared. So the whole take of being positive was there's still hope that those guys will turn that around. Like, if RJ doesn't go 1 of 11 against Auburn, let's say he goes 5 of 11, which he would have last year. That's 12 extra points. Mark Sears throws in a 3 at the end of the game to make it 15. It was 12. So if RJ's even just, almost a semblance of himself last year, that game, which I thought was a beating, like woodshed belt to ass, 90% of the game, we're right in there. So the only silver lining is, do you think these guys are going to turn it around? Because I'm waiting for it. And it's like not happening. I mean, I think Seth had an incredible game today. I think he had like 19 points on 6 shots. So that guy, I know he was maybe 1 of 10 or something for Alabama. He just had a bad game. But like RJ and Cadeau, and Cadeau with all these turnovers and so limited. I know he hit a 3 today, but like every time he shoots it, I'm like, oh, that's going to be an air ball.
We have to get away, I think, from all of this pick and roll. Part of the problem is just
Yeah.
we don't have a real credible roller or pick and pop guy.
Yeah, no threat there.
And
Yeah.
so I think we're bringing two defenders to our guards to initiate the offense. I think what we'd be better off doing is
with no penalty for the defense for doubling. Because,
right,
like you said, there's no threat for
there's
the
no
other
threat.
player. They're like,
And
oh, we'll just leave him. We're good. Thank you for bringing me up here.
And so I don't know if you remember the way Baylor played that national championship team. And I know we're a long, long way away from that Baylor team.
Mm-hmm.
But they basically would just hunt your worst perimeter defender. And they had three guards who then would attack one-on-one off the dribble.
Yeah.
And I actually think like RJ and Cadeau and Trimble and Ian all can just attack one-on-one. I would like to see us like not run so much pick and roll and make it harder for them to bring big bodies at our guards. And then, and then they've got to get a paint touch and either, try to hit a little floater, pull up, or look to spray it for a three. But to play this many guards, like we have to be more attack oriented, I think, getting to the rim.
Yeah, that Baylor team also, like I think Davion Mitchell was on that team. Obviously,
he's an incredible
defensive
guard. Yeah, and they had some really big guys too who could rebound and defend.
So they pressed up heavy. Like when you cross half court, they were in your shirt. But the problem was they had a ton of rim protection, so they were able to do that. We don't have that, but yeah, man,
But offensively, I mean, I know that was a much better team than we have. But I think offensively, we've got to change it up. I mean, only score.
Well, they were guard oriented, so I see the parallel there. I totally get it. I'm with you. The inefficiency. We're not going to win any games as a guard oriented team shooting the way we shoot, and I just don't get it. I don't understand. Like RJ is a proven commodity. Like I don't know what's going on. He's shooting 24% from three. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
No. I have no explanation.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm also with you, though. I think that we need to start Ian and I know unpopular opinion, but like if you do the same thing, you're going to get the same results. The starting lineup, even in the backcourt, has to change. I don't know. Like if it maybe I know if we sit him, Cadeau's probably going to leave. But my answer, I couldn't in my right mind as a fan, as a guy that had to go through transfer and had to sit out a year, and as if I was on the coaching staff, I could not look Seth Trimble in the face and say, we're going to need to sit you down and have you come off the bench. We're going to need you to sacrifice more than you've already sacrificed for us. We're going to need you to take another one on the chin after you probably had a conversation with us and we told you, hey, if you're good enough, make us keep you off the floor. I mean, we beat Memphis, who's having an incredible year without RJ, basically because we ran everything through Seth Trimble. So, like, I couldn't sit Seth. He's our best player. Like, it just wouldn't make any sense. The only reason you would do that is because you'd be fearful of how Elliot Cadeau would take it. And, I don't know. Like, do you cut ties?
Seth's line tonight, he was the only efficient player we had. He was 5 of 6 from the floor, 1 of 1 from 3, 8 of 9 from the free throw line with some clutch ones down the stretch. He had 7 rebounds and 4 steals.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
So
but like the only answer is the Cadeau, though, right? Like Cadeau would be the guy that you would sit.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you have Seth playing point or you have RJ playing point. I don't know if it really matters in our offense the way that we.
I'd put RJ at point like it was when him and Caleb Love were together and we made that title run.
Yeah, and just say, all right, RJ, we're gonna have you initiate the offense. You still have, I think, Elliott coming off the bench. He can still play 20 minutes.
Of course.
But then you have a little bit more, I think, of a dynamic offense if you have RJ, Seth, and Ian, and then play Drake at 4. And then I don't know if we're better off playing Withers at 5 or Jalen at 5.
I'd take Lubin. Just give me
Or
Lubin. All he
Lubin,
wants to
yeah.
do, all he does is try to dunk everything he touches, and he's going to foul out. Great. We maximized everything he could give us. The thing I don't like about, well, one, I struggle with Withers when he tries to do anything offensively. Like he dribbles off his foot or he just makes bad plays.
Yeah.
I'm not for it. Lubin only does what he does. Now, granted, there's a fixed ceiling, and you're going to get 10 points and 8 rebounds out of Lubin. Give me that with 5 fouls. I'm great. If he plays 16 minutes and gets it, great. If he plays 37 minutes and gets me my 10 points and 8 rebounds, great. Don't care. But I know what I'm getting out of him.
He did foul out in 16 minutes today.
Yeah. But that's what he does. Like he's going to get in there, and he will stick his nose in there. And I do like his body language. Like he doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. He gets a monster dunk. You know what he does? He runs his ass back on defense. He does not do all of this and look at like he's just like, all right, let's go. Let's get back.
But at this point, I want to play the freshmen. I want them to get more minutes. And I don't know, we may have to change things up a little bit and see if we can't find some chemistry. But we have, I mean, it's going to really tax, I think, this coaching staff because we have major adjustments that I think we have to make on both the offensive and defensive end. I mean, we have not found what works for us.
No, we have not. And that was the glaring obvious issue today. So before going into today, and I know we won, but it felt like we lost the game. Was everyone's like, well, the losses came against
when the game was over.
Yeah. Hubert was too. Anybody that's seeing this, and please like and share. I'm so sorry I didn't do that. But anyone that saw the game, it cut to Hubert Davis when the horn went off and he went to shake Damon Stoudemire's hand. He looked like he just lost another game. Like he knew it. And the defense was, well, Carolina, 3 out of their 4 losses have been to top 10 teams, all of which are Final Four caliber teams. That's the silver lining. But the context within that is they beat our fucking ass. Like it was not close. It was we're down 20 in the first half. They let off the brakes. We climb back into it and we lose by 10 or something. I know Kansas was a little bit closer and we actually gave that away in the last 90 seconds. But Michigan State also not a terrible loss on a not a home court game, but like today, Georgia Tech's not a good team, and we look like we are also not a good team.
Yeah, we've played our worst 2 games of the year, the last 2. So it's hard not as a fan not to feel like we've regressed.
Yeah. All right, I won't keep you much longer, but I want to give you some of these games, and I want you to tell me from the product that you saw today if you think we can compete and or win that game.
Okay.
All right, I won't do the whole schedule, but just like maybe the next 5 or 6 games just to see where we're at until the break. So we have LaSalle, and we're at home.
I'm hopeful we can win that.
We got to win that one.
Yeah.
All right, we go to Florida.
Yeah, we're not going to win that game. Not the way we're playing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're big and physical too.
Are they still undefeated? Isn't it Florida undefeated?
I don't know.
I'm looking it up right now. Hold on, I'll tell you. Yeah, they're 9-0, and they're 13th in the country. We're not going to win that game. I don't think so. Hopefully, we do. Versus UCLA. I forgot where that game is at. I'm looking it up right now. It is
Charlotte,
Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
They're 7-1 right now. They're 7-1, and their one loss was to New Mexico. They've beaten Rider, Lehigh, Idaho State, Southern Utah. They haven't beat anybody yet.
All right, I'm gonna say we're gonna win that one.
In Madison Square Garden,
Yeah,
you're a better man than me. All right, and then we got Campbell at home. I hope we win that, and that takes us into the break. So you're looking at 4-1 then. I like that. All right, I'll take that. 4-1 puts us at what, 9-5? Yeah, 9-5. Still not great.
I mean, the ACC is down this year, I think, and so if we can get our stuff together, I think Clemson's probably pretty good. I'm not sure what everybody else has. Pitt, I think, was ranked. I think they lost today. Maybe they came back to win. I'm not sure.
I hope Pitt won today.
But I think like we're gonna be battling maybe for 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, they came back and won today.
So I think the ACC is probably a 3 or 4 bid team, a league this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough when you go 1 for whatever 15 in the ACC SEC. That does not look good come Selection Sunday.
No, that's going to look terrible. Like I don't even know if outside of Clemson. I mean, Duke has some, but Clemson has quality wins. Pitt. I think Pitt has one really good win. And we're getting into the March talk now, and honestly, I pray that we're not on the bubble because we don't have any quad one wins. Hopefully Dayton goes on a run. I don't know.
Yeah. I think we're going to be sweating it all year. I mean, I think like losing a game like we had today, if we'd have lost that game, I mean, you're like, that's a bad loss.
Where are you at on Hubert? And then again, we're 35 minutes in. I wanted to make this like 20 minutes. I don't want to keep you, but are you okay with Hubert? Because for me, there's like some glaringly obvious coaching stuff that I'm just like, I don't understand how this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, I love Hubert. I mean, it's been perplexing, the highs and the lows. I mean, obviously, you go to a national championship game, and then last year we're a number 1 seed, and a missed dunk and an open 3 from probably going to a Final Four.
Yeah,
you can say ifs and all that stuff, but that wasn't a coaching problem.
No.
Like from a coaching perspective. I mean, we questioned some of the personnel in that Alabama game in the second half and not playing Trimble more and Cadeau more, but overall we were in a position to win that game. So those were the highs. Of course, we missed the tournament the year before, and then this year I think it's just a roster construction problem, and ultimately that's on him too. I don't know what he saw in our bigs that he sort of felt like we could roll with this group. And maybe he did everything he could to land those other guys. I will never know.
Who's killing that we had a shot at? He was on campus. I think he was the first big that was on campus, and he is balling. I would love to have him. I watched some of them the other day. Is the kid from Yale, Wolf. With Michigan now. He is killing. I was like, man, we had him. He would be starting and he would be killing for us.
Yeah. He can stretch the floor too.
Man, he's like a 7-foot point center. Yeah. Like it's nuts. And the way they really use him, they put him in the ball screen with him dribbling the ball. So it's like he comes off and he makes the decision, and he's playing at Michigan doing that. I'm like, man, we would have been so good with this guy.
Yeah, but I'm optimistic Hubert and coaching staff will make the adjustments. I thought they made really good adjustments throughout the year last year, and got kind of found what worked. I'm sure that there's nobody in the world more frustrated than he is right now about the way the team's playing. But I have confidence.
He's just the nicest guy, though. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I love him as a human being. Like it pains me to be angry at some of the stuff where I'm like, that's a coaching thing, because he is just the greatest. And I know that he cares about the university, and I know he cares about the kids. But the new age landscape of college basketball, I don't know if you can be that nice. And I don't know if you can find the type of kid that he wants and be successful on the level that we play at, because now it's pay for play. And like he seems to, and I don't fault him for this, want to coach kids that love the university and that love the team and love what family and and it's just like the dynamic of what those caliber players are looking for are fewer and fewer, because you used to be able to market Carolina as a way to, okay, we can put you on a level. If you work hard, you're going to also get a chance to play in the NBA, which will set your future forever. Well, now you can find that anywhere. You can find that at New Mexico State or Washington University. Like, here's $2 million, change your life tomorrow. You don't have to care about the university. Just come here, I
mean, that's why these guys are getting out of the game. I mean, that's why Tony Bennett retired.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony Bennett doesn't want to do all that stuff. Yeah, he wants guys to buy in who want to be at Virginia for the team and to grow and develop and buy in on defense and all that stuff. And that worked for a long time. It doesn't seem like that's the model. In a way it's sad.
It's very sad. Do you think they'll put a salary cap on it? or no?
I have no idea what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They've got to do something. I mean, you can't have no rules.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you just can't have absolute free agency and no rules and just have the richest athletic
Right.
departments buy stuff. I mean, at some point I think you kind of kill the golden goose that way, don't you? I mean, at some point
I would agree.
you
Yeah.
you turn everybody off. I mean, even the NFL, there's rules. I mean, there's tampering rules. You know, you can't just become a free agent every year. And so I think it's got to evolve. How that happens, I don't know, because it seems like the NCAA is a pretty useless organization. Maybe
Yeah.
the conferences, get together and police it themselves, once this plays out a little bit. I don't know, but
Yeah.
It's the wild, wild west right now.
Yeah, it is. All right, man. We'll get back to it. Go Hills. We did get a win today. It didn't feel that way, but usually when we win, this is how terrible or like how addicted I am to Carolina. Usually, if we win, I go back and rewatch the game, and like, there's just no way I could rewatch that game.
No.
Just no way. There was nothing in it that I was like, oh man, I can't wait to rewatch that. When it was over, I was relieved. And I was just like, oh, all right, well, at least we didn't lose.
Sometimes you got to avert disaster. That's what happened today.
Yeah, that is true. All right, man. Go Hills.
Go Heels.